I want to live. I want to live.
All of this is alleged.
This is for
The government would
entertainment.
never do that.
We're live on MKUSUal. It's like MK Ultra, but more normal.
We're live, baby. TinFoil Friday.
You know what day it is.
You know, I didn't have a ton of research time this week. However, I've been poking around into scientists that have died.
Okay.
So here's
like of old age and after an illustrious career,
yes.
offering their discoveries for the benefit of humanity.
Usually it's energy scientists. I want to start off with an article. This is actually from 2015. Other countries be talking about this. This is Economic Times.
Okay.
11 nuclear scientists died in mysterious circumstances in 4 years. 11 nuclear scientists had unnatural deaths during the 2009 to 2013 in the country. Latest data provided by the Department of Atomic Energy shows 8 scientists and engineers working in laboratories and research centers of the department died in a blast or by hanging or drowning in the sea. In its RTI response, dated September 21st, the department said 3 scientists of Nuclear Power Corporation had also died under mysterious circumstances during the period of which 2 allegedly committed suicide and 1 died in a road accident. The bodies of 2 scientists of C Group were found hanging in their residences in 2010, while 1 scientist of same grade was found dead in his residence in 2012. In 1 case, BARC police claim that he committed suicide because of prolonged illness and closed the case while the remaining cases are still under investigation. 2 research fellows died in a mysterious fire at a lab in 2010. A scientist of F grade was found murdered in his residence in Mumbai. It is unclear that he was strangulated, but the murderer accused remains untraced till date. A D scientist also allegedly committed suicide with police closing the case. Another scientist posted at Kalpakkam allegedly jumped into the sea to end his life in 2013, but the case is still under probe, whereas Mumbai-based scientists committed suicide by hanging, with police citing personal reasons for the same. 1 scientist allegedly committed suicide by jumping into the Kali River, with police again pointing at personal reasons. End of story. This was never solved. Scientists be dying. Wasn't there something with the Malaysian Airlines? Wasn't there some weird amount of like researchers?
Yes, I forget what type of. Oh man, I just saw this too. Yeah, it was like a group of a certain type of researchers.
AIDS researchers.
Interesting.
Okay. The people in the mysterious plane disappearance include scientists, mathematicians, and engineers. An adjunct researcher of marine and Antarctic studies claims the disappearance was intentional. Yeah. Anyway.
This is a pattern.
It is.
It's a pattern.
She found let's see what this one is. I found an encyclopedia of different people who have died here. Let's see here. Yeah, why scientists be killing themselves? Here's one. Here's a list. This comes from the encyclopedia, actually. There's many conspiracy theorists who believe that numerous research scientists in a wide variety of fields have been murdered in recent years because they were going to act as whistleblowers regarding the character and direction being taken by their companies, biological warfare research, nuclear devices, or missiles. Some of the scientists were opening up new areas of promising research regarding alternative energy sources. Some conspiracy theories set the body count of scientists who have met strange, bizarre, and untimely deaths at 90 or more. As with all of the body counts or death lists, There are disclaimers added here. By the same token, researchers remind us the secret government agencies have developed means of making murder appear to be deaths due to natural causes or accident. Some of these methods are designed to be able to avoid detection in autopsies and post-mortem examinations. A declassified CIA assassination manual states that a contrived accident is the most efficient technique of secret assassination. An example of an efficient technique is a fall of 75 feet or more into a hard surface. We gotta find that document. Other insidious techniques involve the injection of cancer cells, heart attack inducements, absorption of deadly untraceable poison.
What was the? There's like There's a video of a congressional hearing where the CIA has a heart attack gun. It's essentially like
Yes.
a dart that has a toxin, and it induces a heart attack, and then.
Let's see here. Yes, that's a famous. It looks crazy. Don't they have They have it, right?
Yeah.
He holds it up.
Yeah. He brings it into.
He brings the heart attack gun into Congress. This is freaking weird. I typed in CIA declassified documents and I got the Adam and Eve story.
Oh, that's actually.
What? Whoa. Okay, we're gonna have to get to that another time because this is unreadable.
Yeah, I've noticed they keep doing that with. They're presenting the text of all these documents that have been declassified. It's not the actual document. It's just like
Yeah, they declassified it. It's just unreadable. CIA's in some weird shit. Okay, let's get some of these people that have been killed.
Well, I got one we talked about the other day. Dr. Ning Li. She was researching anti-gravity phenomena. She was
The
Huntsville, yeah, Center for Space Plasma and Aeronomic Research. Co-authored several papers proposing that rotating ions in a Bose-Einstein condensate could generate a significant gravitomagnetic field, potentially leading to anti-gravity effects. Which could do a lot. She departed from the university to establish AC Gravity LLC, aiming to further her anti-gravity research. In 2001, the company received a $500,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Defense. The findings were not publicly disclosed, despite being a public company. She suffered a vehicular accident in 2014, which led to permanent brain damage and the onset of Alzheimer's. She passed away in 2021.
How'd she die?
Old age.
Here's one from the encyclopedia. Oh, I lost it. Wow. Arshad Sharif. October 1986. Sharif, 26 years old, allegedly committed suicide in a particularly bizarre manner by looping a ligature around his neck, tying the other end to a tree, and then driving off in his car with the accelerator pedal pushed to the floor. He'd been working on satellite detection systems for submarines.
It's like... Okay, let's say I'm a scientist and I'm working for a government agency or a company, and we discover something. Like, if I discover something that's essentially above my like pay grade or, clearance level, I am now a liability. Or I'm an asset. And depending on your moral compass. You have to choose if the thing you discovered goes against your beliefs. Like maybe this technology is being used to microwave children from space or something. Yeah, you have, like, once you know, you can't unknow it.
Here's a couple weird ones. Dr. John Britton died in 1987, a respected scientist involved in top secret work. Britton, 52, was found dead from carbon monoxide poisoning in his garage after he had returned from a trip to the United States. Along with Peter Papel, a month later in 1887. Papel, 46, had been working with various metals and their resistance to explosives when he's found dead in his garage from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, the accident or like, okay, you could give those people way too much Benadryl and they take a little nap and then you just put them in their car. And if it's staged like a suicide, that's people aren't going to.
Shani Warren, also 1987. In order for the verdict of suicide to be fulfilled in this case of Warren, 26 years old, she had to be capable of tying her feet with a rope, binding her hands behind her back, gagging herself with a noose around her neck, then wobbling to a small lake and drowning herself in 18 inches of water. 4 weeks after her death, her company was purchased by GEC Marconi. Some of these are bizarre. Here's another carbon monoxide survey. Guy worked at British Aerospace. These people would be dying in their garages. Marconi Defense Systems has a lot of these deaths.
That's what I was just looking up, that company. It's a division of General Electric. It's a British Marconi was a British telecommunications and electronics firm founded by Guglielmo Marconi, the inventor of the radio. It was acquired by GE in 1967. Radar systems, missiles and defense, space telecommunications, satellite. Worked closely with the UK Ministry of Defence and NATO partners. British Aerospace, which is now, GE Marconi merged with British Aerospace, which is now one of the world's largest defense contractors. That was 1999. Telecommunications and industrial divisions were sold off, and GEC ceased to exist as a company.
Robert Leslie Berghoff, November 2003. I think I remember this. Berghoff, 45, had been on the trail of a virus that seemed to be plaguing cruise ships. When on November 22nd, 2003, a white van jumped the curb, struck him, then sped away without stopping. Dr. Eugene Malov, May 2004. Malov was bludgeoned to death shortly after he had published an open letter to scientists regarding free energy resources and cold fusion technologies. Harvard educated, the holder of 3 earned doctorates. He spent the last 15 years of his life researching cold fusion, bludgeoned to death.
Okay. I don't even know where to like begin. I know how I feel about this. Obviously, it's.
Here's one
What
close
the
to
fuck
home.
is Temu up
I have
to?
no fucking clue, dude. I get the weirdest fucking Temu ads.
My Walmart ads are pretty bad too.
I want to screenshot this and put it in the show. This is what I have to look at the entire time I'm reading. I have no fucking clue.
Hot sale.
Here's one
Anyway.
close to home. University of Missouri Dr. Jing Im, 2005, 72-year-old protein chemist, was stabbed numerous times and his body left in the trunk of his burning automobile.
What was his name?
Dr. Jiang H. Im. Dr. Robert J. Lowell, May 2005, former president of both the American College of Nuclear Physicists and San Francisco Medical Society, an expert on the threat of nuclear terrorism, 64, was found stabbed to death in the entryway of his hilltop home in San Francisco shortly after he had called for full BSE, mad cow disease testing. Dude, I think mad cow disease, I honestly believe that shit's way more common.
Okay, there was like a big scare. What year was that?
2005.
Yeah, that would have been. I remember it in high school, so I graduated in 2003. I can't remember what the disease does.
It puts little holes in your brain.
Okay.
It's like a wasting disease.
Oh, okay.
Gives you dementia. I think a lot of this long-term dementia and shit people are getting earlier and earlier is fucking mad cow disease.
Undiagnosed.
Yeah. A lot of people think cattle mutilations is the government randomly testing the fucking supply, just showing up in a helicopter.
Well, it's like I thought mad cow was hoof and mouth disease. Is that the same thing?
No.
Okay.
Mad cow,
Is mad cow a virus?
I had this weird, I believe it's a bacteria. What is mad cow disease? It's a neurological disease.
Progressive.
It's a prion disease caused by abnormal protein called a prion, which accumulate in your brain, leading to damage and degeneration of brain tissue.
Okay.
I had this book when I was a kid. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know why I liked this book. I read this whole thing all the way through, but it's terrifying. It was nothing but just ways to die. And the chapter on it, but they're all like personal stories. I'll be like, John woke up and got his coffee. And the chapter on mad cow disease was fucking terrifying. This guy who got up, he wasn't feeling super great. He goes down to eat breakfast and he like can't bring his fork to his mouth.
Oof.
And it describes like what's happening in his brain, and like they take him to the hospital and they're like, yep, he's fucked. Let me get back to my list here. What's going on, CIA? I want to know more about this world of like, who do companies go to like murder people? Like, you got to get a pass from the government. Like, who do you like call up?
Okay, the guy who killed the professor from the University of Missouri was named. He was named as a suspect in 20. Okay, wait, hold on. He was named as a suspect in January 2013, but he died by suicide in 2012. He was named as a suspect after his suicide.
What is the deal with Marconi? Peter Ferry, 1988, assistant marketing director at Marconi. Peter Ferry was found electrocuted in his apartment with electrical leads to his mouth. What the fuck? Alistair Beckham, software engineer with Plessy Defense Systems, was found electrocuted in his garden shed.
Yeah, usually ChatGPT kind of walks around any conspiracies. You have to like kind of probe a little bit or ask the question in a different way. But this brought up when I searched Marconi in the 80s and early 90s, several scientists and engineers working for Marconi died under mysterious circumstances, often labeled as, in quotes, suicides.
In a year, 6 scientists died, 3 of whom had worked for the Marconi company.
Conspiracy related to espionage and classified defense projects.
What the fuck, dude?
Official investigations concluded no foul play.
Roger Hill, 49, radar designer for Marconi. Death ruled a shotgun blast to the head. Suicide.
2 bullet wounds to the chest and 1 shotgun blast to the head. Classic.
Frank Olson, 1953. Olson worked in the CIA's Special Operations Division at Fort Detrick, Maryland, testing biological weapons. After attending a conference at Deep Creek Lodge in Western Maryland, he told his wife that he intended to quit his job at the CIA. In the early morning, Olson went through the window of the hotel room that he was sharing with Robert Lashbrook, a colleague. His death was ruled a suicide at the time, and not until 1975 did Olson's son Eric find out his father had been given LSD without his knowledge.
Dude, they gave him LSD, locked him in his room, and then came in with like fucking
Oh, yeah.
horrifying masks on. And they're like, we're gonna tickle you. We're gonna tickle you. And then obviously tickle torture is the worst kind of torture.
William McGuire.
Hi, baby.
This one's 2004.
Daisy gets worked up when I talk about tickle torture. Come here, baby. It's
McGuire
okay.
was professor and senior program analyst at the New Jersey Institute of Technology. His body was found in 3 suitcases floating in Chesapeake Bay. This list goes on and on. There's like 100 of these.
They couldn't spring for the big one. Everyone had to bring a little.
Oh my God.
So this is just like a Wikipedia of
People who died.
mysterious scientific deaths.
Professor John Clark, the head of the science lab that became world famous for cloning Dolly the sheep, found hanging in his holiday home.
See, all these things on the surface, they're working on a project at the place where they cloned a sheep. And it's probably all very compartmentalized. And one day he goes and talks to his buddy in the other division and just lets something slip.
Yeah.
And that's, like, oh, what are you working on? He's like, oh, I can't really tell you, but there is this one thing that's pretty interesting. And they're just like colleagues. There might not even be any like conspiracy for that guy to like blow the whistle on something. He just like found out.
Right.
And now he's a liability. He can't,
He can no longer exist.
yeah, he can't be trusted to be a fucking company man anymore.
What was the lady we were talking about yesterday? I went and found her speech this morning. It was Ashley, or what was her name?
Shoot, I forgot her name.
Eskridge, maybe?
Yep.
I went and found that speech where she's talking to the NASA people.
Oh, did you watch it?
I watched like half of it. I didn't finish it. Wow. Let's see here.
The Dolly the sheep thing, there were, obviously they said on the surface they were not going to clone humans with this technology.
Right.
It's supposedly prohibited from being studied
We clone embryos, don't we?
on the surface. I don't know. See, I kind of lost track of this, but something like that could be fucking real inflammatory
Oh, yeah.
if there's like I think his name is Blueface. He's like this rapper that claims he's a clone. Obviously, it could be theatrics as like his brand. He could just, this is the character that his rapper is. He's this performer. Baby, you can't be crunching, okay?
There's numerous people who have claimed to have done it, but there's no evidence.
Yeah.
I bet it's been done somewhere, dude. You're telling me China's never cloned a person? They have like no regard for human life. Like there's no fucking way they haven't cloned a person.
Yeah. They have so much space and disposable people, like people who would not be missed. What's the... There's
What
some
the
movie
fuck?
where, like... Daisy. Come here.
Some movie.
It's like these in the movie, these celebrities, they end up on this island, and then they find this facility.
Oh yeah,
And it's
I
like...
think it's called like The Island.
Okay, but
something like
yeah,
that.
it's like cloned celebrities to like, oh, if they need a liver transplant or a fucking whatever, they have a parts. They have like a parts supply to keep these public figures in place.
There's a lot of people have claimed to
gonna go
have.
grab that.
There's a lot of people who claim to have cloned humans.
Hey, baby.
January 2018, a Chinese group reported the births of 80 cloned embryos. What? Wild. Anyway, I have one particular guy here. Have you ever heard of Tom Ogle?
Ogle?
Ogle.
No.
About 40 years ago, a young El Pasoan developed an astounding system for fuel efficiency used in any automobile. Tom Ogle was not the first to think of this basic idea. His advice did have a unique difference that simplified his invention. Tom Ogle created a vaporized fuel system which allowed a car to travel over 200 miles on 2 gallons of gas. He decided to follow through with his invention, even though it led to many conflicts and perhaps even his untimely death. Tom Ogle, like many other inventors, started his invention by being curious. According to the article, auto gas fume invention may save U.S. His parents had 3 children, Tom, Kurt, and Ralph. Hans, an electronics engineer who was described as a brilliant, inventive man, a near genius by his mother-in-law, left Helga while the boys were still young and the couple divorced. According to McGraw, Helga met Lieutenant Clarence Ogle, an American soldier stationed in the Pirmasens. Clarence proposed that Helga agree to marry the soldier only if he adopted her children, which he did. Returning to the United States, the military family was stationed in Oklahoma and then El Paso. Ogle earned a graduate equivalency degree at Irving High School. Tom Ogle wants his invention to help people, said an article at the time. Gregory Jones, who wrote extensively on the inventor, for the Times, Ogle explained to Jones that he had constantly been repairing home appliances, fiddling with combustion engines, and even fixing a truck at the age of 10. He also attended an automotive trade school for 3 years. In the El Paso Times article, EP fuel system inventor claims 160 miles a gallon. Jones reported Ogle had attempted to replace windshield wipers with pressurized air, but failed. In 1971, Ogle moved on to a 4-stroke lawnmower. That's when he discovered something incredible. He stated in the article that while working on the mower, he accidentally punctured the fuel tank. According to Jones, Ogle removed the carburetor from the mower out of curiosity and replaced a hose that connected the fuel tank to the carburetor intake jet, allowing the motor to run off gasoline vapors. He claimed the mower ran for 96 hours. He began to experiment with the same process in a car, failing in several attempts to convert the basic idea into a device that would work in ordinary cars. Jones wrote that Ogle finally succeeded in converting one of his own cars, a 1972 Thunderbird, and racked up 60,000 miles powered by the system, getting more than 100 miles a gallon. This early success motivated Ogle to seek help in further developing his invention, which omitted the carburetor and the fuel pump, and replaced them with a complicated system of hoses and filters. Ogle met an El Paso businessman, James Peck, the owner of the Peck's Automotive Servicing. He granted Ogle access to his shop and provided the necessary equipment for his vaporized fuel cell experiments, including a 1974 Galaxy. On April 30th, 1977, a Times reporter, the young inventor and his assistant drove the experimental car equipped with a vaporized fuel system to Denning, New Mexico. The goal? To prove that with his system, a car could travel 200 miles on just 2 gallons of gas. And on that Saturday, the 24-year-old did just that. In an article entitled Ogle Fuel System, No Hoax, Jones wrote that before the test drive, reporters and onlookers witnessed a mechanic at Peck's empty the special pressurized gas tank and pour 2 gallons of fuel into the tank after it was empty. The car was also inspected for any hidden fuel, but none was found. The inventor had succeeded in taking the 1974 Galaxy, weighing almost 5,000 pounds, on a 205-mile drive on 2 gallons of gas. The Oglemobile, as it was dubbed, put Ogle in the public eye. On May 18, 1977, the El Paso Journal announced that the article Ogle's gas system rejected by ERDA, that the young inventor would get no support from the government agency, Energy Research and Development Administration, because Hum reported that Ogle's system was, quote, not practical. Despite the report, Ogle continued his research and testing with confidence. Meanwhile, critics consistently surfaced. Let's see here. Essentially, he just did this over and over and proved that he could do it.
Everyone's like, nuh-uh.
On
And
August
he's like,
2nd.
here, I'll show you. And he does it. And they're like, nuh-uh, not practical.
In 1977, Ogle obtained a patent pending number on his system. While waiting for the patent, Ogle continued to refine the system and resumed independent testing. A computer test at Casa Ford showed the device produced emissions cleaner than El Paso's air. According to Jones, Ogle and Peck became partners, and several other individuals, including 2 local automobile dealers, also provided funds for his research and testing. Attorneys began working on an agreement between Ogle and his backers regarding possible royalties if the device could reach the mass market. America was in the middle of an energy crisis when the Oglemobile appeared, and many corporations, including at least 1 oil company and 2 car manufacturers, and even the United States Air Force expressed interest in buying his device. On June 22nd, 1978, the El Paso Herald announced Ogle sells rights to a gas-saving device. According to the article, Advanced Fuel Systems, a company in Washington State, had bought the manufacturing and marketing rights. The contract so specified that Ogle would receive an unspecified amount of advance money, 100,000 shares of AFS stock, 6% royalty, and a monthly salary. After 2 months later, the Security Exchange Commission filed a complaint against AFS, as specified in the Times article. The SEC charged that the Seattle company had violated provisions of the federal security laws. Ogle and his backers became further entangled with legalities. Meanwhile, Ogle went ahead with plans to open a chain of computerized diagnostic centers and opened the first and only one in El Paso in 1979. Before the end of the year, Ogle apparently had closed the site and the phone had been disconnected. In May of 1980, the IRS came looking for Ogle, claiming he owed more than $20,000 in back taxes. Let's see here.
He was, okay, when he died, he was 26.
Yeah.
And when he was doing this, he was 23.
Yeah.
So how in fucking 5 years in 1970s had he accumulated 20,000 in back taxes?
I don't know. Maybe from that deal for that company. But like, yeah, every agency involved in this just keeps going after. On August 19, 1981, the 26-year-old Tom Ogle died of what medical examiners said was alcohol and drug overdose, citing large amounts of Darvon, a tranquilizer, in his body. Pathologists were uncertain whether the death was accidental or suicide, but many people, including some of his backers, believe it was neither. Even though Ogle had legal and money problems, his friends and lawyers refused to believe he would deliberately taken 20 Darvon pills.
Whoa.
In addition to drinking heavily.
You would if you were being held at gunpoint.
Whatever happened to the Oglemobile?
Well, I looked up the Advanced Fuel Systems Company. It says located in Sammamish, Washington, but it says it was founded in 2007.
Huh. It might be, the name might have lapsed in somebody.
Yeah. But it didn't bring up that one, even after searching Tom Ogle.
There's a lot of articles about this guy from El Paso. So this seems legit.
Yeah.
After 40 years, still no leads on famous El Pasoan's murder. This is just calling it a murder. Mm-hmm.
KLAQ, the clack.
Well, there you have it, folks. We live in a nightmare world.
Yeah. If you want to, like, if your life's not going great and you don't want to upset your family by committing suicide, just invent a fuel-saving technology.
Get
The
into
government will
research.
do it for you.
Get a physics degree.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. All right, well, like I said, not as quite as put together as last week, but just wanted to list off some of these people,
the
talk
po-
about the weird ones.
You get the point. It's
Maybe this will give you some stuff to Google. The Marconi stuff is interesting.
yeah. See, this is very interesting to me because it's like I don't know. Did it ever say he had a college degree or?
I don't think he did.
Yeah, maybe he just grew up working on
He tinkered on
cars and,
stuff.
yeah, so he knew enough to like. The point is, this gets into like, what's that? Right to repair.
Yeah.
Like farmer. Like I used to work for this guy who did diesel repair, but he was not allowed. Technically, not allowed to repair John Deere equipment. You have to go to a John Deere dealer. They are the only ones who have the rights to work on that equipment. You cannot repair it yourself. So it's like right to repair. And then like Case IH, which was a competitor, much more affordable and simpler machines, just as effective, but they were designed that way so that the person who bought them could work on them. Or you could hire someone like my boss at the time to come out and do it for you. And like, I was 18, I didn't know shit about working on it, but I figured it out. But like they're designing stuff now to not even be able to,
Yeah.
that is part of the design, is to make it so convoluted that the average person couldn't figure out how to modify it for their benefit.
Well, took us on a little journey there.
Yeah.
That is bullshit, though. Apple does that. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
One time my hard drive, my computer broke, and then Apple was like, oh, we don't. I had to take it to the Apple store, and they were like, we don't replace hard drives. And I was like, who the fuck does? And then they're like, there's a guy in Liberty, we call him, and he does it out of his garage. And they gave me the guy's number.
What the fuck? That's like if you went to your car broke down and you take it to the repair guy and they're like, we don't work on engines.
Yeah, that's exactly what that's like. They just have a guy.
We just do the logos and the expensive marketing campaigns.
Anyway,
Well,
you got any theories? Drop them below.
my theory
Subscribe.
is that all these technologies are so simple, a person with a basic science and engineering understanding could develop them on small scales in an open source way, and everyone could have this in their home. They could modify their car.
After Nick gets killed tonight, I'll see you tomorrow alone. I think we should not. I think we should let our overlords. I think we should let our overlords do whatever they want. There's some reason why our cars need gas. Anyway, we love you.
We love you. I want to live. I want to live.
All of this is alleged.
This is for
The government would
entertainment.
never do that.
I think we should honor these people with 100 big booms. Boom!